Turning now to a man convicted of murdering a Toronto couple in the early 1990s. Well, now he's been charged in a cold case murder near Peterborough. David Alexander Snow. That name may resonate with some of our viewers who recall in the 1990s. He was arrested and convicted for the murders of Ian and Nancy Blackburn in 1992. Provincial police confirmed to CP24 he is the same person now charged with first-degree murder and the death of then 40-year-old Angelien Josephine Quesnelle, who was found dead in Apsley in 1991. Snow is now 70 years old. He was charged last Thursday with her death. The OPP say his arrest represents an important step towards providing answers to the Quesnelle family and the community at large in Apsley. Joining me now in studio is our crime analyst, Steve Ryan. Steve, a big difference between 1991 and now is just some of the tools at the disposal of police, but it's still amazing to think a nearly 35-year-old cold case that could have, you expect if you watch TV, is just left in a warehouse in a box, but that's not the case.
It's not the case, and what we're seeing, in my view, are the advancements in DNA analysis. And this case, given that it's been so long, I would expect that it was the advancements in DNA that helped the OPP solve this case. And that goes to the work that the biologists do at the Center of Forensic Sciences. It is their expert evidence that allows a charge to be laid, and then the Crown relies on that evidence from the expert.
Well, just on the issue, well, not the issue, but on the change of evidence gathering tools now and then. This is a charge of first-degree murder, which includes a form of premeditation, and if not, there would have been second-degree murder that was the charge. When you think of what evidence could be there has to be something that would give the Crown something close to ironclad to have an argument. Is that a fair supposition?
Well, in order for the police to lay a first-degree murder charge, what they need is reasonable grounds to believe that there was some planning and deliberation that occurred. That separates first from second degree. To have reasonable grounds is defined as beyond mere suspicion. So that's all they really need. The threshold is not that great, but to lay first-degree murder, you need to have some evidence with regards to what outlines the offense, and that would be planning and deliberation. So
you spent time, I think you spent 3 years in cold case.
I did, yeah.
What is it like being one of those detectives that has family members that do not have closure? They may never get their loved one back, but they want to at least get answers, and you have to keep working a case even if there's no leads right now. What's it like?
It's heartbreaking to tell a family that there are no new leads on the case, that it remains cold. But what is the epitome of investigative work is when you can, the euphoria, if you will, when you can contact a family and say, we have identified the person that was responsible for your loved one's death, despite the fact that it was 35 years later. It really goes to the tenacity of the work of the investigators with the OPP to come to this conclusion.
Now, in the case of someone like David Snow, they did spend time in custody, and that may not be similar to a general population person that may be using something like 23andMe. I know the company's gone bankrupt, but so many people have either voluntarily or involuntarily, because their family members have done it, have provided their DNA sequence that ultimately gets in the hands of police in databases that they can access. Does that make it a lot easier to solve cold cases like this?
It gives you another option, another avenue to go down. And for sure, that has been instrumental in some of the cases that we've reported on. I mean, the Toronto police have solved a few cases with that new technology in and of itself. So let's not forget, Snow is in custody right now. He's serving a life sentence, and he's designated as a dangerous offender. So he's in custody indefinitely. He was convicted of 2 counts of first-degree murder, which means that he wasn't eligible for parole for a period of 25 years. Now, he did go before a parole board in 2019. It was denied. And given the fact that he is a dangerous offender as well, unlikely that he'll ever see the light of day.
Now, those two in sentencing, he was ultimately serving 2 concurrent sentences of 25 years with no parole. When you look at what if he's ultimately found guilty as a 70-year-old man, he would never see the light of day again.
I would suggest not, and that would be on the fact that he's been convicted of first-degree murder and he's been designated a dangerous offender. There's not many offenders that get that designation, and once you get that, that suggests that the Crown has proven beyond a reasonable doubt that your behavior is a detriment to society and you are locked up indefinitely.
So right now, David Snow, these allegations against him have not been proven in court in this case, but like we said, he was previously convicted in the case of the Blackburn couple, right. And this is around the same time period as well.
Yeah, so Quesnelle went missing a year before the Blackburns were murdered, so that murder happened prior to if the allegations are accurate and correct with regards to what the OPP are telling us. So this murder is solved later, but the homicide happened before the 1992 murder.
Well, I think both of us will be really interested to see this evidence tested in court. One, so we know what the evidence is.
Yes.
And two, to see how it prevails or potentially could prevail.
There's always a boot fight in court when it comes to new ways of evidence being introduced, so it will be interesting for sure.
Steve Ryan, always appreciate having you break things down. Our crime analyst, Steve Ryan, joining us here in the CP24 studios.